What's going on, my trainer club? Today we're gonna check out the Unova week 3 Pokemon Go Ultra Bonus to make sure you guys have the top tips to max out on everything that's going on. So welcome to the trainer club. Here we go. Welcome back, everybody. Let me know in the comments below, how do you feel about the Ultra Bonus Week 3 in Pokemon Go? Or did you like the Dragon Week or the Enigma Week better? Because we have some pretty cool bonuses going on right now. Just wanted to remind you guys that thetrainerclub.com, if you do want to participate in my high score Trainer Club 150,000 sub shirt, it is going to be available for a couple more days at thetrainerclub.com. So without further ado, let's get right into all the details. We do have the event that did start yesterday, which is going to be on the 14th, and it's going to go all the way until the 21st. So we do have 4 new Pokemon that are going to be released, 3 Pokemon that we all can acquire, and then 1 of these Pokemon that we cannot acquire unless we are in New York City. So we have Cottonee, Sewaddle, as well as Emolga that are all going to be released in the wild. We will check out the different PvP stats for some of these because they are actually pretty relevant in some of the leagues. And then in New York City, like I said, we have Bouffalant. So Bouffalant is going to be out in New York City and the surrounding areas. Not only is Bouffalant going to be spawning in the New York State area, we also have reports that it's spawning in Albany. That's going to be spawning in Washington, D.C. and Maryland, as well as Philadelphia. So it looks like the surrounding states in the upper northeast, kind of central northeast as well. So congratulations, guys, you are able to get a regional for the first time for you. Not only that, we do have 2 new shinies that are coming out in the wild. We do have Genesect, which we have already covered. If you guys want to check out the counter guide or the excellent throw tutorial, you can check out my playlist up here. And then number 2, we also have the Roggenrola. So Roggenrola is going to go all the way into Gigalith. The shiny looks super cool, so we're going to get over everything we need to know about all of this. So without further ado, let's start off with the top tips, starting off with tip number 1. Tip number 1 from my standpoint, guys, is going to be to make sure to get after the Genesect in raids as much as possible. Number 1, Genesect is a mythical Pokemon, so you cannot trade for this Pokemon. The only thing that you can do with mythical Genesect is going to be to catch it on your own. So not only are you going to want to catch it and check out my playlist, but you're also going to want to try to get as much as possible because the shiny is going to be out. I think the shiny is amazing, and it's a pretty resistant Pokemon. May not have the best stats for PvP, but it does do work. The best placing that it's going to have is in the Master League at rank 76 with the Fury Cutter, X-Scissor, and Magnet Bomb combination, and it's going to have a ton of resistances, and it's only going to be double weak to fire in itself. So that's going to prove pretty lucrative. So that's why tip number 1 is going to be focus on this Pokemon as much as possible, which is then going to lead us into tip number 2. Tip number 2 is going to focus on the wild spawns. Guys, I do suggest that you guys get after all of these starters that are out there. The Tepig, Snivy, as well as the Oshawott. Do pineapple those guys or get as many as you want and lucky trade them because we do have the Calm Days in the future coming up for them. We do have Patrat, Lillipup that both have shiny potentials, and Purloin, no shiny. We have the Blitzel, Roggenrola, which the shiny is out and it's in the wild, so those raids, honestly, guys, are a complete no-go unless you're really trying to get a good quality one, but still, honestly, I'd rather have you guys stock up on those guys and lucky trade them.
And now we're gonna go in for the trading. So trading Roggenrola and getting a lucky is really beneficial, not only because you're gonna save Stardust powering it up, you're also gonna save candy because the Boldore, after you evolve the Roggenrola, is then going to be a free evolution, or if it's not traded, it's gonna cost you 200 candies. So you're able to save yourself 200 candies just by trading this Pokemon and then evolving it, because then you can evolve it into a Gigalith from a Boldore for free, as opposed to spending 200 candies just alone for that single evolve.
And then we have the Sewaddle. In the next, we have Cottonee, and then we have Dwebble, which has the shiny, which is recently. So if you guys haven't been able to get shiny Dwebble like myself, that's something I am going to get after. And then we have Minccino as well, which does have a shiny for everybody that missed out on the Minccino research day. And we have Emolga, Carablast, as well as Shelmet. So those are going to be all the Pokemon in the wild. So now let's check out how these Pokemon are relevant to PvP right now. So the Sewaddle is going to go all the way into Leaveney. And Leaveney is going to be a bug and grass type Pokemon. In the Great League, it's going to be ranked 55 with Razor Leaf, Leaf Blade, and X-Scissor. Does have spammy moves, which is pretty beneficial. In the Ultra League, it's going to be ranked 104. For the Great League, 100% IV is going to be 0, 13, 14. And as far as the weaknesses, it's going to be double weak to flying and fire. It's going to be resist in double form of grass and ground. So if you guys do want to use this Pokemon, just know that it does have some exploited weaknesses that are relatively common in a lot of the leagues, but it can do work if you are able to use it to the best of your abilities. Then we're gonna have the Whimsicott. Whimsicott is going to be a fairy and grass type Pokemon, double weak to poison and double resistant to dragon with more resistances than it does weaknesses. In the Great League, it's gonna be ranked 62 with Charm, Grass Knot, and Moonblast. 100% IVs at level 28.5 at 0, 14, 15. Then we have the Emolga. Emolga is gonna max out at 1633. It's gonna only have 2 weaknesses of Rock and Ice with 6 different resistances. It's gonna do best in the Great League at 207, Thunder Shock, Discharge, and Aerial Ace. 100% IVs are gonna be actually level 40 at 0, 15, 15. Then if we go on to Bouffalant, in the Master League it's gonna be ranked 83. It can get a buddy boost of Mudshot, Stomp, and Earthquake. It's gonna max out at 2797, and it's gonna have a weakness of Fighting and a double resistant to Ghost. And then also in the Ultra League, it's gonna be ranked 146 with Mudshot, Stomp, and Earthquake. So guys, if you do want to get after that Pokemon, you can definitely do it. And finally, we have Gigalith from the Roggenrola, ranked 97 in the Master League, Smackdown, Rock Slide, and Superpower. Really spammy moves, definitely really good. It's gonna be a pure rock type, so it's gonna have 5 weaknesses and 4 resistances. And the last one I suggest you guys get after is gonna be Carablast, because in the Great League, it's gonna be ranked 68 with Counter, Drill Run, and Megahorn. 100% IVs are gonna be 0, 15, 13. Then we have it in the Ultra League, which is gonna be ranked 15 with Counter, Megahorn, and Drill Run as well, with the stats of 1, 15, 14. And then in the Master League, it's gonna be ranked 52, so it's pretty good in all the leagues at 100% IVs, and you can buddy boost it. So with that said, guys, that's where everything you need to know that's sitting in this event so far. So without further ado, let's get into tip number 3. Tip number 3 is gonna be focusing on the research tasks that are gonna be involved in this event. So the research tasks are going to include use 5 berries to help catch Pokemon, which is gonna give us 5 different types of Pokemon. Number 1, it's gonna give us a Patrat that does have a shiny. 339 is the 100% IV. Lillipup also has a shiny. 392. Purloin does not have the shiny out yet. It is going to be 330. Pidove does have a shiny out there. It's going to be 363 for the 100% IV. And the 5th Pokemon available in there is going to be Drillbur. 589 is the 100% IV. And then we have Win a Raid, which is going to be a Roggenrola encounter. Do suggest you guys stack up on 3 of these at the same time. Has the shiny out. It is also in the wild, so make sure to get after those as many as possible. Pine at those guys. 516 is going to be the 100% IV. With all that said, we are now going to lead us to tip number 4. Tip number 4 is going to be, so we have Cottonee, Sewaddle, as well as the Emolga. They are going to be in 7-kilometer eggs. None of them do have a shiny out. So if you do feel like hatching 7-kilometer eggs for these guys, like I said, they'll also be in the wild, but the 7-kilometer eggs could get you better IVs for any of these Pokemon that you may want. So as far as the 100% IVs that we can get, Sewaddle hatch level is going to be 558. Cottonee hatch level is going to be 400. And the 100% IV on the Emolga is going to be 933. So pretty easy Pokemon CP stats to remember for the level 20 hatch. And then I'm going to cover Bouffalant in case anybody in New York is watching this video. 1598 is going to be the level 20 100% IV. And then also in the eggs, there's going to be Pidove, Woobat, as well as Minccino. So these 7-kilometer eggs, in my opinion, are super mediocre. If you do choose to do one, I would say do one at a time. Don't go too hard because most of these Pokemon are already in the wild. And now that we have that tip number 4, we are now going to go into tip number 5. Tip number 5 is going to be the raid bosses. What are going to be the bosses that I would suggest getting after? In tier 1, we do have Clink as well as Timber and some other ones. The only 2 that I recommended were the ones that I just mentioned. Timber is going to be 751 and the Clink is going to be 546. Both have shinies. As far as tier 2, Darumaka in the fire form, 823 is the hundo if you guys do choose to get it, or you can do Roggenrola. Also, like I said, I'd rather have you guys hunting that in the wild for 688 as that hundo. Tier 3 and Tier 4, I wouldn't put too much weight in there, especially since we have the Go Fest makeup coming on Sunday, and we do have the Alolan Marowak in the wild. The best one I do suggest you guys get after is the Genesect with the shiny and it being mythical, so make sure to take full advantage of that. Alright guys, so this event is pretty self-explanatory. Make sure to get out there, hatch some eggs, make sure to pine up any of these Pokemon in the wild from the new Unova region, because these Pokemon do get a little bit rarer after these boosted events. Not that they're going to be incredibly rare, but it's best to take advantage of everything you can when they are available, so pine up them and try to get the appropriate IVs for any of these Pokemon that you do have or want. So, also, if you do have friends in New York City, you may want to ask them to save, or if you do have the ability to travel to New York City safely, or the New York State area, maybe something that you do consider. So, with all that said, I appreciate you guys for tuning in, all my likers, commenters, subscribers, Patreon members, everybody takes a support, subscription, and participation to the next level. I'm going to see you guys out on the next video. Peace!
I just want to take a moment and sincerely thank all of my Patreon members, everybody that has taken their subscription to the next level and chosen to support me on this platform. I greatly appreciate you guys. As a growing channel and really trying to grow and improve as much as I possibly can, I really appreciate the extra support. You guys mean the absolute world to me. I cannot wait to connect with you soon, and I appreciate you guys all for being a part of the Trainer Club. I will see you guys out on the next video.